That is the widget we want to create, right? What I want to do here is, because we are inside already a viewport and we have the canvas, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna call this main UI, right? I'm gonna make this guy into a variable, and then I'm gonna bring this here, and I'm gonna add a children or a child, whatever, here. And there we go. So, and I also want to do is I want to set this as a reference. So I'm going to call this main inventory window, inventory main inventory UI. It's going to call main inventory UI. Coming in there. It's going to push in here. Right. So that will add to the parent, and when I in here, when you close, you're just gonna do remove from parent. There you go. And now in here, I am gonna go where is the category. We can just call this maybe widget, just so we can organize this. Yeah, better. So I'm gonna call toggle main inventory widget. Right, nice. Parent save. Right. So the first step is done in here. Right. So now we need to trigger that somehow in the inventory here, right? So what I'm gonna do here is, because I have the main widget reference, I can call open main inventory, right? And in here I can call close main inventory, right? And there's the next step that we actually want to do here, which we can call maybe, let me just create here a custom event. I'm gonna call this toggle main inventory. And the reason why I'm doing this is because we're gonna call this, and this is gonna be, oh, if it's open, close, if it's close, open, or something like this. So I'm gonna get this inventory is open. I'm gonna create a branch. Coming in there, here, and here what we're gonna do is gonna compile and save. Actually, I'm gonna do this outside this, right? I'm not gonna do it here because I need to do another thing that I forgot. I'm just gonna hook this up here. Let's keep it simple, right? Open and close the inventory. Yeah, go ahead and delete that. You don't need this variable. And the reason why I want to do this different is because I want to handle this in the player controller, because the player controller may have some custom logic that we may need to edit eventually. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a method called custom event, and it's going to be called toggle main inventory UI, right? And what this is gonna do, right, is basically we're gonna create another variable saying is main is inventory open, right? And if you're gonna create a branch, so I'm gonna hook this up, right? So if it's true, we want to make sure this is false. And we want to call this and call a method called close main UI. Yeah. But if it's true, if it's false, means that it's not open, it is closed, so we can open, and we want to call the open main inventory. Right. Let me just do this. Nice. By default, this is false, which is, should be open every time, and then we can actually just call the mistype that, so toggle main inventory UI, right? And then when you press, you're just gonna call that method. You could even hook this up straight away, but let's just do this way. And I am just gonna comment this and say handle open and close off the widget, right? And let's press play and let's see what's gonna happen. So if I press open, it does open, but the size gets messed up, right? So what I'm gonna do then is we kind of have to set up the size here. So I think I did a mistake with our inventory in here. What I'm gonna do here, I'm just gonna wrap this with a canvas for now. So I'm just gonna make sure that this canvas is full screen, fit screen. Yeah, so I'm just gonna go back here and show guys what I did, right? So I'm gonna select the main. I'm gonna open up my main inventory here, yeah, because I need some space after. But I'm gonna open up the main inventory. I'm gonna go where is the border. I'm gonna right click. I'm gonna go to wrap with a canvas panel, right? Where it says view screen, I'm just gonna make sure it's view screen and make sure we centralize this on the bottom of the screen. Yeah, so alignment is gonna be 0.5 and 0.5, right? Make sure that this window size is set up to 500 by 800. Yeah, so we don't mess this up. I'm just gonna make sure this is like that. There you go. Position 0 minus 500. There you go. Minus 3, 4. Cool. Okay, now we have to change a couple of things in here. First of all, we don't need this. So I'm just gonna go ahead in here, delete that, because I didn't know I'm probably gonna have to use that or not. Well, let's see first after, right? So I'm gonna go here to main inventory here, right? I'm gonna just close that. This is inside the BPC inventory, right? And what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna just on open main inventory Y, I'm gonna just create a widget. And I'm gonna select that widget in here. I'm gonna paste it in there. And I'm just gonna add this to actually first I'm gonna create this as a variable. So I'm gonna create this as a reference, say main inventory widget, right? So this one is gonna be the inventory widget log and drop, yeah, because we're gonna drop items on that. I'll explain later how we're gonna do that, right? Let me for now create a folder here and put this stuff inside widgets. So we organize our project, and now we can just add to viewport, right? Add that to viewport, nice. So you gotta add it, and here we're just gonna basically just do remove from parent, which means we delete the item here. Right, compile and save. Nice. So in here now on the player, we can call those methods in there, which has no problem. We can actually access those. So if I come in here and I press play and press tab, I have the inventory there. Press tab again, I don't have the inventory in there. Right. So you got that very basic information. But now we kind of have an issue, which is that we need to somehow show the mouse, right? We need to display the mouse. Why the mouse not displaying, right? To do that, what we're gonna do here is when we open the inventory here, what we need here is to set cursor visibility, show show mouse cursor, which is gonna be true, and set input mode to game and UI, right? Player controller is self. We don't have, I mean, we do have a widget to focus, but we're not gonna worry about that. And I think that's, let me check first that's the right one. I think that should be the right one. There you go. Right. So what we need to do now is we need to just first hide the cursor here once we stop when we close the UI. And we need to set the input game again as a game only. So set input as a game only, right? There you go. So this change will make sure that as I press tab, open, close, open, close. I can move my character around. So I have that feeling that I can use the mouse, I can click on things, I can highlight items, click on buttons, but I can also, go back and press play, right? Now, the last thing, guys, I want to do before I finish this video, I know it's getting huge. There's a lot of stuff that we covered as well, but the last thing I want to do here, put up this, is I want to go back to my inventory here. I want to make sure that this button works. Right, so make sure that button works. What I kind of want to have to do here is that I need a reference of the inventory, right? So I'm gonna open up here my main inventory, this guy here. I'm gonna make sure I have the reference of the inventory on creation. So it's gonna create here inventory ref, right? And this is gonna be the BC inventory, right? This is gonna be public, and make sure you click expose on spawn. Now in here, if I right click and press refresh nodes, I can pass the inventory reference, which is going to be self, right? Now, one thing as well that I think would be nice to do here is just so we can actually get things running. I'm going to create a new variable, and I'm going to call player controller. This variable here is going to be called player controller, and make sure that's object, right? A shared word player controller, right? What you want to do here is make sure you get a player controller here. Let's show cursor, set show cursor to false, and set game mode to game only, right? And we want to do the reversing here. So when you open, make sure you set that true, and we're gonna set game mode as a game and UI, right? And I'm gonna tell you why I'm doing this, right? If you notice, you can even also trigger that up. If you notice, we done this on the player controller, right? There's nothing wrong to do that on the player controller. The only problem to do this way is that we are locking ourselves to the logic of this character. So in the future, if you migrate this project to another project, you're gonna have to do this logic yourself. In this way, because you pass in the player controller, everything is handled in the component. So you can just copy and paste, and there you go. You have the same logic working. So we kind of have to do a couple of adjustments here. I think the easy adjustments that we have to do here is just on the begin play. When you start the UI or whatever, all you want to do here is set player controller, and this is gonna be self. That's the only thing you're gonna have to do here. Sorry, gonna be self. Let me see if that no compile. Right, we need to change this because that's the wrong type. So it's gonna be player controller. Yeah, there you go. Make sure you select player controller, not a shared. I did a mistake on that. Let me just save, change variable type. Doesn't matter, won't do anything. And okay, what that does that thing. We're just gonna make sure that right now, let me check, where is that? Okay, so after you change that to player controller, you go back in here, and we're just gonna set player controller to whatever is this, and we should be good to go now, right? So let's test first if the logic didn't break, which it didn't. Nice. So we have the reference, and now let's make that button close. Right. To do that, I'm gonna go back in here to where is the main inventory. I'm gonna select this button there, right? Select the close button. And in here we have some events like on click, on press, on release, on hover, on hover, right? What we want is on click, just double click there, nice. And because we have the inventory reference here, right, we can just call the method close main UI. There we go, nice. So there's one extra thing here as well that I want to do before we finish for today, which is I want to make sure we move, where is it, on the player controller. I want to make sure that we move this variable inside our component, right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a new variable called is main inventory open. It's going to make sure this is boolean, and this is going to be true, this is going to be false, right? And the only thing, guys, you're going to have to change is a part of course adding that variable. And one is open, make sure it's open, one is closed, make sure it's closed. That's a mistake there. Go back to the RPG demo controller, and the way you can make sure that variable is public, yeah, otherwise we won't be able to access. Get the main inventory, and we're just gonna get is main inventory open, and just gonna plug it in there. And basically I'm just gonna plug those two in there as well, so we don't actually we just gonna get and yeah, we don't need this, sorry, we don't need that. We're just gonna do this. So if it's true, close, if it's open, then open, right? Now if you press play, we should be able to open and close our inventory, and the X should also close. And if you notice that the mouse allow us to move again, right? So thank you very much for watching, guys. I know this video got very long, but I think this is a very important part to set up our inventory, because right now we have all the tools to start to fill up this, start to do the logic to add those items to the player. We already have the log stuff, which is quite cool. We already have our inventory there. So I hope you guys are enjoying this series. If you got lost again, just go back, rewatch a couple of parts. Make sure you understand the parts as well, why we're doing this in a certain way. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and see you guys in the next one.